name is Denise Dalton. I'm the proud owner of the Drapery House, located here in Leesburg, and we pride ourselves in offering full service for custom window treatments. We also have an extensive line of fabrics and trims and hardware, and some hard products like the blinds, shades, and shutters too.
Wonderful. Can you give us a little bit of a backstory about yourself and how you got into the drapery business?
Gosh, it's a long story.
I'm here for it.
So there you go. Leading in with the sew. I always liked to sew as a child. Like, it's been something that I always enjoyed. Never really considered myself great at it, but didn't realize until I was much older that actually it was a gift. Not everybody can sew.
Oh no.
But I just loved it. Going back to when my mother actually did classes and I went along with her and learned to sew. I grew up in England, and we did sewing as sort of part of the curriculum then. Loved doing it. I've fast forward. I used to do my own clothing. I made costuming for my children for theater and dance. And then as my children got older, I'm like, okay, the only thing that I've ever made, and I've done this for a long, long time, were window treatments. That was the only thing you measured once, and it was the same. And so I'm like, okay, let me do that. And I've just always loved fabric and textiles and creating, and honestly, just an entrepreneur at heart. When I look back at my life, I'm like, oh, yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Yes. It's never changing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And then, are you the only one that runs your company, or do you have a team with you?
So I have a small team. There are just two of us in the shop designing. And then I have a couple of seamstresses that work with me. We do a lot of our own fabrication, and then we work with local workrooms as well. And we have a team of installers that work with us as well, and upholsterers. So
nice.
It's great, and they've all been with us for a long, long time.
Beautiful.
So it just feels like family.
Yeah. And now, is your shop a place where people can go and look, or is it just for you guys to work out of, and it's more online?
No, it actually is a retail shop. So it's what I consider now boutique retail. I did downsize in 2018.
How come?
Because I used to be when I first purchased the business, it was a piece goods store, which essentially, if you remember, bolts of fabric on the floor, you go in, you look around, you buy your fabric. And the fabric industry has changed. Like, you don't see very many piece goods stores now.
Yeah.
And I was looking at how many people were actually coming in and purchasing fabric off the bolt, and then realized that, gee, I really could downsize, and saw a great opportunity in a smaller retail boutique being built here in Leesburg, and took advantage of that opportunity to move. And so now we have a lot of fabrics that we offer our clients, but we'll do larger sort of flags of material so they can take them home and look at them in their home. But it's definitely a place we encourage our clients to come and visit us first, because there's so much to choose from. Yeah. And it helps us identify what clients actually like, because oftentimes they don't realize what it is that they like about a fabric, or what it is that they don't like about a fabric.
Or just touching it, right?
Just touching it, and just the feeling that it creates. I know it's crazy, but I do think fabric evokes a feeling in all of us, and it's very different for every person. So I think it's important to be there, and often listening to clients, we can get an idea of what their goal is, or what their preference is, or the look that they're trying to create.
Well said. I agree with that. I know I saw on your site you guys have like fabric collections, Blossom and Lace, Multi-Purpose, Provence, Sound, Timeless Classics. Talk to me a little bit about those different collections. Yeah.
So they're just beautiful collections. We private label, and we actually offer those collections on our website. So while we do have a boutique retail, which we love for our local clients to come visit, we are expanding and offering more services online to reach a wider audience as well, which really began with most of us during 2020.
COVID.
When I needed to talk to clients, I needed them to be able to reach out and speak to me. I couldn't get into my website, so I built a new one. And as time has gone on, I found that I've had sales on the website.
Yeah.
I can ship draperies across the country, and that's a fabulous feeling. So that's actually our new, my new baby, if you will,
congratulations.
is growing the e-commerce side of the business.
Yeah. What have been some struggles or challenges for you that you were able to overcome being your own business owner, whether it's maybe finding employees, the right location, downsizing, something that you've learned that you could share with other entrepreneurs?
Gosh, there are many. The industry that I'm in is a very niche industry. While design is very wide, window treatments themselves, there are many details. There's almost a drapery language, which we educate our clients on. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, I'm just like, wait a minute.
They don't need to understand it, but we like to educate and have them understand what it is they're actually purchasing. So struggles, there's training that has to happen, for clients. I think when you do have a retail space, it's getting people in the door. Part of downsizing for me was investing in myself, because I had been renting for 10 years in my location. It was a fabulous location, but it was an older home that I could never really make my own. So by building my own space out, I was able to really put my own sort of touch on it, which is really nice. And we have had great, response from people that do come in.
Yeah.
Because by that time, I'd been in my business long enough to know what is it that clients need to look at. What don't they need? Because there's a lot of overwhelm when you start looking at fabrics.
You're just like, wait, where do I start? I don't know.
Right.
I need help.
Well, and some people come and they could look for hours. Other people are like, just give me 3 choices. They don't want to look at anything else, because it is overwhelming, But we'll help. We'll look at paint colors with you. If you've got, an existing furniture, rugs that, so often we'll tell clients come in with a photograph and we'll look. But challenges is just really just not giving up, to realize that while you might have slow months, people will come through the door. If you're putting out a good product with good service, you will get your clients, back in through the door. But really not giving up too soon, because I think a lot of us in business, we think, oh, I'm going to go in business. Oh, I'm going to do so well. And the reality is there are a lot of expenses that come along with business too. Absolutely. Overhead, employees, costs of goods, shipping, and all these hidden expenses that you really don't know about until you actually go into business. And I think it's the balance of that, the reality, that it isn't going to happen overnight, but not to give up, and then always looking at new and creative, innovative ways to, either reach a new market or extend what you're offering, and just continuing to try to grow.
I love that. That's a great answer. Speaking of trends in different markets, what do you like to do, or what type of resources are you using to keep up with the latest trends and the latest innovations?
So I follow a lot of design just on social media with a lot of my vendors, a lot of my fabric vendors, and the paint, the colors of the year. I attend the fabric shows so I can see what fabrics are coming up, and everything is related. Like you'll see the colors in the fashion industry, and then you'll see them in the window covering industry and interior, really interior design industry. Because we also offer pillows and bedding, and so really throughout the home. And so really looking at the color palettes, it does take a while when the new color palettes come out to start seeing those in people's homes. But so we're always just continuing to look with the new collections, and just trying to stay current and vibrant, and everybody has different aesthetics and tastes.
Mhm.
So you might have a very traditional client, you might have very transitional, or somebody that's really modern. So finding products that really appeal to all of those markets.
Yeah.
Because if there's one thing I've learned is everybody is so different in what
Yes.
they love. And what I love, you might go, "Ah, really?" And there's no right or wrong
Yeah.
answer. And I always tell people, try not to be swayed by trends. Try to stay true to what moves you.
Yeah.
Because it's your home. You're going to be sitting in that room, and you need it to evoke a feeling of relaxation or contentment or whatever it is you're trying to achieve in your space. It needs to be a reflection of you and what soothes your soul. That's what I try to tell people, because I find fabric that soothes my soul.
No, of course, of course.
And the textures and
The color, the patterns,
yes,
everything.
So, and that's I think why I love what I do, because every day is different. There are no 2 days the same. There are often challenging days. It'll be difficult like how you're going to install something, or how you're going to create something, or so. And I will say, our clients, we have the best clients.
Oh, y'all hear that?
we do. We absolutely have the best clients. Like they're my friend. I feel like so many of them, I could call them up and say, "Hey, can we chat?" Because they're just fabulous. I truly, when I say we have the best clients, we do.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
It's a very personal space to be in when you're working with clients in their home, and you think, "Oh, it's window treatments," but it's personal.
Yeah.
You're in their space, and looking at the family and what it is, what's going on in the house. Do we have kids running around? Do we have big dogs? Do we have cats?
Yeah.
I'm always doing a scratch test when we're doing performance fabrics. It's like, do you have cats? Do you have dogs?
Here, try this out.
Yeah.
I love that. To you personally, why is it important to have that connection with your customers, with your friends, with your clients?
I think I've realized over the years I'm a people person. I think service. When I look back at my life and I look at all the different things I've done, I'm like, service is really where I like to be. I like solving problems.
Yeah.
I like creating. I really thought as I got older, I would stop in my head. It would turn itself off, and I would stop creating. And now, I'm like, oh, really? I could so do this e-commerce, and I could do this and that, and now I have the relationships, I have the connections, to be able to make all those things happen.
Yeah.
So I just continue just to dream and dream big.
Yes, never stop dreaming. I love
And
that.
whether it will suffice or not, I don't know. But I enjoy the journey.
Just do it. Yeah.
And life is truly about the journey, right?
I agree with that.
And just kind of taking the opportunity and making the most of it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yep.
But from failure comes success. That's my big thing.
I love that. I love that positive outlook. That's so good to have, especially as a business owner.
You have to. You have to, this, for instance, it's been cold, it's been slow, it's winter, and you just go, what, spring is coming.
Yeah.
It's going to get better.
Yes, it definitely is. And I'm sure with spring, that might bring some bright colors too.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah.
It's the best time with new beginnings, new colors, new color patterns, palettes. I love it.
And it's forever changing.
Yeah. And then I would like to ask you about marketing. What are you doing to get your name out there, to show the type of services and the business that you are able to offer to others?
Right now, I do a little local advertising in a magazine, and I think it hits the social media platforms. I'm actually sort of deep diving on a sort of an e-commerce training program, and probably will be doing a few more social ads.
Okay.
But right now I'm growing my audience.
Yeah, of course.
That's my goal right now, is my top of the funnel, because I realized that in order to get to where I want to be,
you have to put yourself out there.
You have to put yourself out there, which is why when you called it, I'm like, okay.
Perfect opportunity. It came knocking, huh?
Right. Yeah. So I thought this is a sign. This is good.
See, yeah.
Yeah.
New beginning.
So
Spring is right around the corner.
right.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
And now, when you aren't sewing, this is probably your passion and you love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what other things do you like to do to unwind, to take time for yourself and just have me time?
Gosh, me time. Um, but let's see, me, I don't really slow down much.
Whoa.
But my favorite time is that spent with my grandchildren.
Oh.
You know, I have 4 grown-up children. I have 4 grown-ups, proud parent of 4 grown-ups. But I've got 6 little ones now.
Wow.
And they, I love, like I was telling them, I said, oh, Nana's going to be on a podcast. And they're like, podcast? And I said, yeah, that's where you sort of sit down and you chat about your business. And one of my granddaughters yesterday, she's like, so Nana, how are you feeling about your podcast?
Wow.
And she's very, very sensitive. I'm a little nervous.
I feel like she could come and do the little interview right here. She's like, so how are you feeling, Nana?
She could. But I love inspiring them to dream big. Yeah. And I know, like this past week, you know, my grandson in his little entrepreneur spirit, you know, made paper airplanes and then stood on the corner and had a little paper airplane for Valentine's.
It's so cute.
Instead of a lemonade stand, he had
Hey,
paper
it's different.
airplane. So I love seeing and encouraging that little entrepreneur spirit. I love sort of you can create anything. Yeah. You know, you can solve any problem. Like, there are no problems, just solutions. Yeah. So I just love sort of spending time with them and just kind of quiet time. Honestly, yeah. I do enjoy quiet time because I don't get a lot of it, so yeah. I do tend to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So just relaxing
and enjoying those me moments. I love that.
And family.
Yeah. Before I go to the next question, why don't you say hi to the grandkids? Give them a little shout out so when they watch this, they'll be like, "Hey, I see you guys."
Hi guys, Nana loves you.
Yeah, I love it. They're gonna smile when they see this. All right, and like you said, you like encouraging that entrepreneurial spirit. Mm-hmm. Was that something that your parents instilled onto you as well?
You know, I don't know that they intended to. My dad was in the Royal Navy. I grew up in England. I'm from England, so my family are over there. And my mom, you know, stayed home with us, and she liked to sew, and I do look to her as my inspiration, even though she does not sew now, or she didn't. She shouldn't continue it as I continued it, but she crocheted, you know, yeah. and she crocheted herself a dress to go out to an evening event with my dad, and so I always sort of admired that. But when I sort of look back, I've always, like, I used to be a walker for greyhounds, you know, as a teenager. It was greyhound races, and yeah. walk the dogs around. I've had some weird, quirky things. So I was a walker, walked greyhounds. I've been a clown in my life.
A clown? Like a literal clown?
A literal clown.
That's amazing.
Went to the community college and did a clown.
You went to clown college.
not full clown college, but I did belong to a clown alley. So we used to do children's entertainment. So I created that, you know, and I used to sew, you know, window, anything really. I would really sew anything. Like somebody would say, "Oh, hey Denise, can you make this?" I'm like, "Sure." Never made it before in my life. There was no internet to tell you how to make anything. So you would just create. So I've always sort of sewn and created for people. Prior to this business, I did have my own, you know, and a workroom. I used to rent a little space in one of the antique shops and have my products there. Oh. So it's an evolution of different businesses. Yeah. So I think what I've learned is I like change as much as we all resist change. Yeah. It's something that's very constant and evolving. And I do, as much as I find it challenging, I do think I enjoy it. And I think the entrepreneur spirit is just, I don't know.
It's in you.
It's just in me, like that independence. And I see that independence in some of my grandchildren now. And I think, ooh, kind of recognize you. Oh, I think I know more about you than I did about me then.
That's so beautiful.
But you can just sort of see it, you know, and some people might think, oh, it's headstrong, or oh, they just, you know, but it's really not. It's just the creating and the service and
The experience.
yeah, and an experience goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And you do sort of look and think, oh gosh, I wish my 20-year-old self might have known
That.
all
Yeah.
of these life lessons and
All within its time.
and just even business experience, you know, and
Yeah.
everything sort of is intertwined. And there are so many connections with our clients. You're like, oh wait, I know them, or you know them, or it's a small town.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't realize how small a town is.
But connected we can be.
Yes,
right?
so connected.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, oh well, wait, I know them, or oh wait, I did that. Like just you'll find that you're talking to somebody who wants new window treatments, and they're actually in the home of somebody else that you had done the window treatments for.
You're like, oh, I did that.
Right. So it's just and our clients are really mostly have been word of mouth and referral. Which is the best
type of referral you could get out there.
Referral.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. I want to get into also your house collections. You have panels, pillows, furniture, accessories, and lighting. Talk to me a little bit about that and the type of collection that this is, the colors, the pattern, the thought that goes behind it.
So really, again, it's my concept for how do I build my e-commerce site. And it's something we do every day, where we're pulling a fabric for drapery panels, whether it's a living room or a bedroom. A living room, you're going to throw some custom pillows on a sofa or on a chair. In a bedroom, you're going to throw some pillows on the bed. There's always room for pillows.
Yes.
So sort of pulling together pillows and panels as collections, it's so easy for us to do, and pulling fabrics but visually putting the colors together so the clients can see the layering and the patterns, the solids, the textures, the scale, and seeing how they all go together. So really providing an instant, okay, here's this, put together for you, that we can provide that for you.
Right.
So again, it's something we do all the time, but when you're looking at it to create it on a platform, on an e-commerce platform, you look at it from different eyes.
Yes.
And that's another full-time job.
Oh my.
So that's why it's a slow. I'm a big believer in slow, steady growth.
Yeah.
And so that's why I sort of plant the seed and the concept, and then we'll grow from there. And so a lot of our fabric vendors do fabulous furniture. We have a lot of accessories that we offer from vendors and lighting. So, over the years, we've curated so many different products that you just have to go, well, wait, I do that.
Yeah.
Why aren't I doing that?
Exactly.
Right? So that's sort of where when we're putting together things, and design boards, you see them all the time. And I'm like, Denise, but you need to duplicate yourself, right?
Yes.
So, and I know it's hard to grow. I've had many more employees, but that doesn't necessarily mean growth. So it's a fine line for growth. And I'm still trying to find it.
We all are, to be honest with you.
Still trying to find it, because we are very passionate about our own businesses, and finding a team of people, which I do have, that are as passionate, is the key, right?
Yes. And then when it comes to making things one of a kind or customizable, how I guess on hand can the clients be when it comes to that? Or are they mostly just maybe when they give you an idea or a sketch possibly?
So we'll talk to them about what it is they're trying to achieve. Are they trying to gain light control? Do we need functional drapery panels, stationary drapery panels? For customization, how high up are we putting the panels? What's the hardware we're going to use? So a lot of those things I will discuss, like what our options are, where they defer to us to know that for them often, more often than not. We'll do custom bedding sometimes, custom pillows. So we'll go over sizing, but often we find that we guide the clients because we've got the experience to know.
For sure.
But then, they might have an existing piece of furniture and they need a pillow. We just need to know the size of the piece of furniture, the heights, and then we can talk about the size and give them an idea.
Yeah.
So it's working. It's really collaborative.
Yeah.
And some clients absolutely, are fabulous. They really have a strong direction and know what it is they want. Others that really need a lot of hand holding and guiding.
That would be me.
Because it's not what they know or their comfort. Just like this is not necessarily my easiest place to be right now.
Yes.
But and so we provide that, and we're really easy to get along with. And that's, I think, why we do so well, is because our clients just we walk them through the process and guide them, and then we basically do the design, the fabrication, and the professional installation.
Wonderful. And now I know I asked about trends, and you said it's not good to always follow the trends and be more like authentic to yourself, but since being in the industry, what are some of your favorite trends, or what are some timeless classic pieces that you would recommend, or colors that never go out of style in your opinion?
Never go out of style. Well, shades of blue, shades of green. I mean, it's always the basis of everything. We're definitely seeing more moody tones right now, which I love. The moody tones.
You love the moody tones.
I love it. And of course, we're seeing a lot more sort of saturation, where you're seeing the entire room painted in the same color. The trim and the ceilings, and I love that. Not everybody loves that, but I do. I love that. I think the patterns. It depends. It really depends which company you're looking at as to what you're getting.
Okay.
Because you'll get some companies that tend to be more modern in their aesthetic.
Yeah.
You'll get some that tend to be more traditional. Depending on the collection within the company, it can have a totally different feel too.
So it's kind of case by case sometimes.
It really is. Design is just such a it's a universal thing, but there is no right or wrong. It's really either you're appealing to the masses with the trends, or you're appealing to just the appreciation for art. Sometimes for some of the fabric pieces, they're like artwork, right? Just the way they're created and made, the embroidery. So it just. And I tend to be, I will say, I'm a little bit of a fabric snob.
Okay. I mean, very recognizable.
I love, a lot of the higher end fabrics, because once you get there, it's harder to look at the fabrics that sort of more generic, I guess. Because when you look at, a lot of them have historical patterns that they've maybe been created off of. So just the depth of the pattern, the print, the quality of the fabrics that are used, the way that they're created is, and it's just once you start looking at those, it's hard
to go back.
Yeah. So, and I do always, once we start getting into those higher branded products, I do full disclosure to clients and sort of say, okay, just so you know, we're going to, the higher branded products. And there's something for everybody.
Yes.
There truly is something for everybody.
Yeah, some people are looking for a budget. Some people want to splurge and spend on that high end. Some people want a budget, but they also want it to look nice. Some people, they're just like, you know what, my wife wants this. I don't care. Just do your thing.
We do have a sign that says, your husband called and said you could buy anything.
See? I knew it. Just kidding. I love that. I love the humor in there.
We like to entertain.
No, that's good. Entertaining is so good. Is there anything that I have not touched on that perhaps you want to get the word out there about, whether it's with your company, your industry, maybe you have a new service that you're looking to offer?
So just to let people know that we do, carry an extensive line of Hunter Douglas products for blinds, shades, and shutters, which often we'll use in layer for light control. But we can create really pretty much anything with fabric. Just stop by and visit. We do custom upholstery. We offer wallpaper. We really do a little bit of everything. So if you're not quite sure and you need someone to guide you, then stop by and
Hit up
visit us.
Denise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Stop by
that.
and see us.
Yeah. And then I have another question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as a person and with your business?
Gosh, in 5 years, I would love to be. I joke that I want to make money in my sleep.
That's a good dream.
But that's sort of in 5 years. I would love to see my e-commerce have grown. You know, I would love to see that. I would love to find someone that is as passionate about what I do to possibly step into my role.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just keep growing, really. Yeah. Because I sort of joke about, well, gee, you know, should you be thinking about retiring? But when you kind of have fun at what you do, you're like, well,
it's hard.
What would I do? Like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
I get to shop for people. I get to design things every day. So I really enjoy what I do. Yeah. So, but really just being surrounded by other like minds that like doing what I do, and really to see the growth that I've been trying to get, you know, for the past, you know, 16 years.
Yeah. We're all trying to grow all the time.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And now my final question. Do you have a quote or a saying that has inspired you in any way, or maybe somebody's told you something that resonated with you? Would you mind sharing that?
Do I have a quote? You know, I don't really have. I've had one that resonates with me. Whether or not it's appropriate, I don't know. But when I look at it, I'm like, gosh, you know, my auntie really did know me. And I kind of just laugh because she once gave me a picture, and it was a hedgehog with a tire track on the floor. And it just said, I don't know if life is passing me by or trying to run me over. And I just thought, wow, because she's known me since I was little. And she's like, Denise, you were always busy. You never, never stopped. So, and now that I'm older, I sort of reflect, and, you know, a lot of my friends are like, oh, where'd you get your energy from? I'm thinking, what energy? Like,
what? This is just
do we all have this energy?
Coffee?
Which is why I think my job is a perfect fit, because I just have enough energy for probably 3 people.
Wow.
But yeah, I just kind of joke with myself about, I mean, it's not inspirational, but it's sort of funny.
It is.
Because I do take a step back sometimes and go, okay, Denise, where are we at?
Where are you going with this, girl?
Is life passing you by? But I do take time to enjoy the moments.
Good.
Because I live very much in the moment.
Yes.
And I truly believe, you know, in living in the moment.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's a good one. Sometimes we can get lost and we forget. We're trying to live too in the future or stuck in the past.
Right now. Yeah, you have to very much live in the moment, because none of us are promised tomorrow.
No.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one.
So, but I'm blessed. I feel so blessed just with my business and the people that I've met, you know, throughout the course of my journey. And, you know, I've had opportunities to be a part of 10,000 Small Businesses with Goldman Sachs. And just, there's been so many great opportunities along the way. And the one thing I would say to business owners really is embrace those opportunities.
Yes.
Even if they push you past your comfort zone, like this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Do it, right? Because it's a great opportunity, and you never know if you don't try.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm like, okay.
So well said. My goodness.
But it just, as long as you love what you're doing, just keep doing it.
Yeah, I love it. And one more time, where can people find you?
You can find us online at draperyhousedesigncenter.com, or you can find us in Leesburg at 438 Harrison Street.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome.